Hello and welcome to the fourth Let's Play Civilization 6 video. My name is Skaterwheel and today we will be continuing from where we left off last time. And we'll be discussing topics like tourism, which I mentioned as diplomacy in the last video. I apologize for that. Gold production, faith production and culture production per turn. As these will be important, especially when you enter the second half of your game playing with any civ. So right now there's a few things that we need that I need to show you, because I was supposed to expand the empire and see if we can get all the way up here. And first thing that we're going to do is we're going to wait for this settler to be produced. And there's a few things you can actually do. As you can see, I've just completed the civic. And we will open our civics tree. As you can see, it leaves us with a few more options than we had last time, but we have to actually change our policies. So I'm just gonna go ahead and find a way to do that. Let's have a look. Right here, a few policies. They are still locked at this time. We'll have to wait for a bit, but that's not going to be an issue. We'll just go with Dharma Poetry and set the thing going. Okay, well, you, Montezuma, needs to chill down. There you go. Now you know where I live. There we go. We've reached the medieval era.
There is no easy way to train an apprentice. My two tools are example and nagging.
Very well. As we are going to be expanding, there's a few things that we need to watch out for. So for example, there's a barbarian village out here. We don't want to go there. It has a green spot, it has an oasis, it's a good place, but it's not safe. You can actually, as I've shown before, link a military unit with a settler unit to guide them on their way, but I do not have a spare military unit. I don't feel like actually sending away my archer right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send my settler up north and start settling somewhere around here, even though it's not safe there as well, as I can see right now. So let's just go ahead and change that for a bit. Okay, as you can see, I just bought an archer instantly, and I can now produce something else. I'm gonna go with ancient walls just because there's not always gonna be defensive units here when I'm building settlers. Let's see, what can we use that will actually help us? Iron walking is not that bad. So there's a few things actually that I was supposed to talk to you about, and one of them was faith per turn. Faith you will get when you have built a holy site in any buildings in that district. It works just like the science district, you just have to pick a spot. And the more faith you have, the more kind of units you can buy. And you have a button for that right here, purchase an item with faith. And when available, it will show different unit types. And they will allow you to build them, and they will be opted for faith and conversion. So for example, you founded Protestantism and you want to have a religious victory, you will actually have to send ministers and apostles toward other cities and convert them, and you have to convert over 60% of all cities of all civilizations to win a religious victory. So when you're playing with multiple civs, it gets harder as soon as you have a bigger map as well. So that's something to watch out for. Faith usually goes hand to hand with culture. Allowing buildings for faith will usually mean that they also could produce culture in a certain amount, and vice versa. So as you can see, I have very low culture per turn in contrast to my science per turn at this particular time in the game, and that's basically because I've been been building on science. So if I were to build a feeder district, my culture per turn would increase dramatically, and any wonders and buildings and that kind of things would also increase my faith per turn. So culture and faith are easily combinable, and will actually help you grow quickly in either. So that's a good thing. And there is a link with that to tourism. As you can see, I have plus for tourism, and it's only 800 BC. This is something that is very important late game. When you're playing a culture victory, you need to produce more tourism than any other civs do in their capital. So you actually have to out tourism them. They have a certain amount of tourism they produce, that they generate, and you have to generate more so that you can actually pull tourists toward your cities, toward your civilization, have them visit you in a sense. That's kind of the idea. And tourism will increase dramatically once you specialize in culture and theater districts and things like that. So it will actually keep increasing, and it is very important that when you go with a culture victory, that you go with a lot of city building, because you will not be able to win it with 3 cities. So you need to expand big time. It will cost you a lot of time, and you will not be the immediate winner. It will take you considerable amount of turns, but a culture victory has never been one of the easier kind of victories, and they've only made it harder. So it's definitely something for a challenge. But then you would also have to be aware of the fact that you need to build certain
believe in astrology.
Buildings that will actually house so-called great artists or great engineers, great works of art. So, for example, we do not have that here yet. Let's see if we can find that in our city. Toggle city details. No, it's not here yet, but that's most likely because I haven't got anyone yet. As soon as you start producing great artists, for example, you can get great works, and you need amphitheaters, museums, all kinds of things that have to do with culture in order to be able to store them. And you have to build them in all of your cities, because once you start going with culture, you will be getting a lot of them, and you can only store so much in any one culture building. And not every culture building can actually store any and all culture work. So that's something to watch out for. But that will be discussed in a different video in what to expect when playing a culture victory. So for now, we're just going to go with a new research. What we're going to go with is, seeing as we might go build on the coast, celestial navigation might not be bad. A harbor district can actually increase production. So we're going to choose production, and we're going to build another settler. Let's see what our current policy is right now. Alright, we have +1 production in all cities. So when you are expanding your empire, as we're doing right here, it is useful to actually keep an eye on a few things. You need to be able to produce more units quickly, because you might need to have them co-op with settlers to get them safely to where they need to be. So production increase for units may be a useful thing. Or unit maintenance reduced, as you will be creating more cities, but creating more cities will allow you to increase your income, so that's kind of balancing itself out. Also, what's quite important is when you have the option, is that you use your economic cards, which are the yellow ones, and you can actually reduce production towards settlers by 50% by increasing the total production for settlers. And that will actually save you a lot of time. As you can see, I've not done that yet. Last time I did not fill in that blank. But that's not an issue at all. Like the monument right here, it's in the city center, but it's a culture thing. So I will be building a monument because I do need some culture. I do not want to be overtaken by a different civilization who has a great amount of tourism. So we're going to go ahead with that, and we're going to see what happens. Also, culture will provide you with amenities. For some reason, I cannot actually... Oh, I understand. So we have this warrior right here. Should have seen that earlier, but, you know, whatever works. Let's go and kill out some more barbarian camps. It'll give us some extra gold. Alright. No problem, Japan. My pleasure. So the camp is nearly dead, so that means that we are going to bombard it. And we will not be reaching a place to build right here in this video because I want to build up to it. I want to be sure that the travel distance isn't too big for any trade units, for example, as they could easily get ambushed. So I'm just gonna place a city here, and we'll see what's up next. It is still a purpose to get up here, but this is actually one of the few basic mechanics left, or actually, if the mechanics left to tell you about. So we may not be able to actually see it happening in a Let's Play video for this game anymore. So let's see what's going on here. We get to send one envoy. We get production in encampment districts, but we don't actually have a lot of those. But industrial zone districts will be very important in the future, as it will increase production a lot. And any buildings in it as well, and you'll need that for the space race project when going with a technological victory, like I've been describing here. You will see more about that in the what to expect when going for a technological victory video that I've posted earlier. So as you can see, we can actually move it around, and I'm just gonna set it just a few bit more forward. Let's see what happens. I want to put it on the seafloor, but I actually want it right there because there's some areas for production and there's seafood nearby, and it seems like the perfect spot. So that's Japan right there. Oh, I'm sorry, it's England. They're our buddies. So we're not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna have them skip a turn. Them as well. Gonna wait for them to walk away there. So when playing a technological victory, you need to get education as soon as possible. As you can see, I have not done that here, as I had to explain some mechanics. But when you're going for a tech victory, go with education as soon as you get it, because it will increase your science dramatically from the point that you are at that particular time. So let's see what happens. Right, that's not too bad. I mean, this is not actually visual guy killed. Crew Great White Rider is one of the cultural things that I was actually talking to you about. So, one other thing that I was supposed to talk to you about in this particular video was gold per turn. As you can see, gold has been going up and down since we started this video, and cities and units cost a certain amount. So, yeah, that's actually something to watch out for. If you have too much units, it can cost you a lot of money, and you can actually get minus gold per turn, and when you go bankrupt, that's a bad thing. So, I've not actually gone bankrupt yet, but we'll see what happens in the future. So I'm just gonna have them wait there. And send a different settler towards the east. See what happens there. So expanding your territory is crucial for pretty much all victory types, especially science, because you're gonna need production for different kinds of things in the space race projects, for domination victories, because you need to be able to split out a lot of units at the same time, and also for religious and cultural victories, as well as for score victories, as it goes on a total amount of points. And the more cities you have, the more points you get. So basically, at some point, you're just gonna keep building settlers to expand your empire. We're gonna check and see if we can get the Englishmen to move.
All the world's a stage,
And all the men and women.
Alright, so right now we can actually fill this in. Plus 50% protection towards settlers. Will save us quite some turns. Now, as we do not need it too much longer anymore, there is something to actually watch out for. And that is when you choose the next civic, choose one that is not too long away. So with 8 turns, I'm guessing I can make another 2 settler units and be able to change it and actually get back to 1 production in all cities, for example. So let's see what have we got here. We're actually going with the commercial hub as it will produce extra gold as we need to avoid going bankrupt. So we're gonna build right there. It already gives us plus 3 gold just for having the district there when it's finished. Alright. As you can see, seeing as there's more cities and more units, turns will take longer to process, especially when you have more civs on the game. This is something that is completely unavoidable, so that's something that you're gonna have to learn to live with. And important thing is that when you do, just keep in mind that when you get into the end game, you're gonna have to have a lot of patience when having a huge empire, and huge is a perspective kind of thing, but think like 20 cities. 20 cities is large. I've never actually played 20 cities before yet, at least not that I found it my own. I usually only conquered them. But at some point, if you have too much cities, or you conquer too many cities, you can also raise them to the ground. So just there's ways to circumvent it, but it will take longer, as it is, after all, a strategy game. So it's not in much sense of the action, but more in the sense of, am I doing the right thing? So as you can see, actually Liverpool is blocking us right now, and that's a bad thing. So we're gonna threaten the Englishmen, and that is one of the things that you will need to know. So we are very not happy, so we're actually going to make a deal with them. We can't actually threaten them because we have a declared friendship, so that means that you can threaten them. Let's see if we can get...
No.
Alright, well, it was worth a try. So, I've actually been blocked off here. I may be able to have a trader go back and forth between my city, Xi'an, and Geneva for the science boost, but our building here is probably the most north I'm gonna get pretty soon, as they seem to have a city of some sort as well here, maybe a city-state. So, it's not a city-state, it's actually the British. Okay, so they're actually just closing in on me, and that is a bad thing for me, as it will not leave me a lot of space in the north to expand, and at some point this is going to be full. So that's something to watch out for. So as you can see, there's not too much about it. It seems like a lot to actually deal with when you're playing this game, but keep an eye on things and check your cities, what their incomes are, using the city list screen, city details. It seems like a lot, but it's really not. So when going with this, don't worry about it. When you've played it like 20 turns, that's pretty quickly, things will start feeling familiar. So don't worry about it. So there's actually one more thing that I want to talk about: the gold per turn. I've mentioned briefly before, but when you go with it, make sure that once you have a commercial district, which you definitely need, you build buildings in there such as markets, banks, stock exchanges. This will increase your gold production dramatically, and you will need it, because if you're going to buy units later on in the game, such as artillery units, it will cost a lot more than an archer unit would cost now. Archer costs like 200 gold now, and artillery units, when you get in game, will easily cost somewhere around 2.5k gold, and it's a lot. So there's empires that have low gold production, that only have the commercial hubs with the expansions and the buildings in it, such as stock exchanges, etc. And that will get you maybe to 300 gold per turn if you have like 5-6 cities. So that's not too bad, I guess. But when you expand like a lot, and you may even conquer some cities, it will actually increase to a few K per turn, and that is actually what you need when you're going with a domination victory, because it will allow you to buy a lot of units in one go. So that's something to keep in mind. It will not hurt for technological victory as well, as your production is not too high and you could use the extra gold. So keep in mind, going with a tech victory means that you also need a commercial hub in each of your cities. So at this point there's nothing else I can tell you. If you do have any questions, please do ask below, and I will try to answer them as best I can. For now, I want to thank you for your time and for watching. Please do not forget to like this video, and sharing is caring. And please do subscribe to the channel, and have a nice one, guys.